Hey guys! So we are back with chapter 16. In chapter 15, Langston seems like he kind of found almost a friend in Clem, who was previously one of his bullies, so that's exciting. And his dad is back from Alabama. That was the big thing that happened, and Langston is still like hiding books from his dad. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Chapter 16. Even though Daddy stayed up late answering every one of my questions about Grandma's services and Aunt Lena and her kids, he left early for work this morning. I can tell being away for a whole week from a job that don't mind firing colored workers is on his mind. When I'm locking the door behind me to leave for school, Miss Fulton is coming out of her apartment. "Morning, Miss Fulton." "Oh, good morning, Langston," she says. "Mind if I walk with you a bit?" Can tell it ain't a question. What else am I supposed to say but no, ma'am? She walks next to me quiet at first, and just when I get to thinking that maybe this is the one day she ran out of things to say, Miss Fulton says, "I see you got one of the books I showed you out of the library." "It was just a book from school," I say. "Langston," she stops and looks at me. "There's no shame in being a reader and being someone who loves poetry. Poetry helps us to—" "I ain't shamed," I say, looking back at her. "Well, then why did you lie to your father about the book?" I mumble some words. "What did you say, Langston?" I said, "Can't I have something all to myself?" "Like reading?" she asks. "Like the library," I answer. "Is that where you go after school?" "Don't tell my daddy. He thinks I play with some boys after school." "Well, I'm sure your father wouldn't mind." "Please don't tell Daddy. I'll tell him soon. Just not yet. Not now." I'm gonna be late, and Miss Fulton's gonna tell my daddy that he ain't gonna let me spend my days at the library. "I'm gonna be late, Miss Fulton." I don't wait for an answer before I take off running to school. I'm just about calmed down because I made it to my class before the bell rang, and that's when I see Lyman sitting in the back of the class at his desk, smiling at me. "Take your seats, please," Mrs. Robinson says to the class. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Clem, but he's looking like he didn't even see Lyman. I don't hear one thing Mrs. Robinson says for the next 3 hours till lunch. The class laughs when she calls on me twice to answer a question, and I still have to say, "Excuse me, ma'am?" I find a quiet spot in the sun away from everyone else in the schoolyard. No sign of Lyman, but they don't usually bother me at recess. Last night I almost made my way through each poet in the Caroling Dusk book. The cover says it's an anthology, and when I ask Mrs. Robbins what an anthology is, she says it means a collection of Negro poets. I'm careful to look up and make sure no one is inside and I'm still alone. No one is going inside and I'm still alone. I made a promise to myself that I'd read every Langston Hughes book they have in the library. So today I'm starting The Weary Blues. My daddy listened to the blues back in Alabama on an old scratchy record. Sometimes he and Mama danced, but it just sounded to me like an old man crying about something he couldn't have. But Mama said the blues makes you feel the hurt deep down in your gut, and the blues is about how much colored folk go through in life and love. Not something I want to dance to. I wonder what Mr. Langston Hughes feels about the blues. I flipped through till I find a title I like and stop at one called Poem 4 to the Black Beloved. Here's the poem. "Ah, my black one." This one I think I read before, so I turn the page to another called Harlem Nightclub. But that Poem 4 stays in my head even when I finish Harlem Nightclub. I turn back. Here's the poem again. "Thou art not beautiful, yet thou hast a loveliness surpassing beauty." Just when I'm thinking again about that poem, I feel a shadow over me and look up to see Lyman, Errol, and Clem. "What are you doing over here all by yourself, country boy?" Lyman asks. He's smiling bigger than ever. I look at Clem, but he looks away. "Bet you and your daddy thought I'd be gone for good, huh?" I ain't in the mood for Lyman today, and I don't answer like I know he wants me to. I just sit and stare up at him. I notice he ain't much taller than Clem. I stand up tall. Lyman snatches the book out of my hand, and I go to grab it back, but Errol pushes me into the fence. "Give it here, Lyman." "Give it here, Lyman," he says in a country accent. "What's so interesting in this here book?" I know it ain't a real question, so I wait. He opens to a page. "Yet thou hast a loveliness." He messes up all the words, and I laugh. "What's so funny?" "You can't barely read," I say. "If I can't read, country boy," I know I shamed him, "you can't neither." He holds the book to my face and rips out pages. "No!" I scream. Then he rips out some more and throws them into the air. The wind carries them across the schoolyard. Lyman might as well have ripped my heart out along with those pages. The library and Langston Hughes about the only thing that kept me going without my mama. Now I ain't even got that. I never knew I could have a feeling so mad and mean inside me. Madder than when Mama died and we moved away from Alabama. Madder than having to live in this city without her. It keeps growing till I feel it explode out of my chest. My hand reaches out quick and grabs Lyman's arm tight. Errol tries to pull my hand away, but I don't let go. Clem runs yelling, "Mrs. Robbins, Mrs. Robbins!" But I still don't let go. Lyman's other arm swings at me, but when his bony arm hits me, I only grab tighter. The book drops to the ground, and I still keep hanging on tight till I see tears coming to Lyman's eyes. He spits in my face. He's hurting bad, but we ain't saying anything. We just staring into each other's eyes, me with his spit running down my chin. Blech. "Pick up my book," I say finally, but he doesn't move. I twist his arm a little till he drops to one knee. "Let him go," Errol yells. "Pick it up," I say again, and he does. Slow, staring at me all the while. Usually boys and girls scream and yell like they're at a Joe Louis match when they see a fight, but now everyone is standing around, staring back and forth at the two of us. Quiet. I stand up and let go just as Mrs. Robbins comes over. "What's going on here, boys?" she asks out of breath. Neither of us say anything. Errol starts, "Country Langston grabbed both of you inside now." I've never seen Mrs. Robbins so mad. I snatch the book from Lyman and look around for the ripped pages. Not one of them in sight. Walking behind Mrs. Robbins, I wonder what Mama is thinking if she's looking down on me. In my head, I hear Lyman stumbling on those words, "Yet thou hast a loveliness." And even though I can still feel the mad inside me and I'm on my way to the principal's office and I'm gonna get a whipping from my daddy, I smile because now I remember that was the poem Mama wrote in her letter to Daddy. And that is the end of chapter 16. Wow, all right. We saw Langston stick up for himself again, which is awesome. We needed that. Really sad about the book getting ripped up though. So we'll see what happens in chapter 17. Bye guys.